Wraith is the original lobby stomper in Apex Legends, with every big streamer and pro player dominating lobbies as they flip their kunai around. While she isn't quite as strong as the old days, she is still the same aggressive, flexible, and creative legend that she was all those seasons ago. What's up, guys? It's Valued, and by the end of this video, you'll be looking like you're straight out of Season 1, destroying enemy squads and hard carrying your team. So, we're going to touch on her abilities really quick as a refresher, and then we'll get into some advanced Wraith tips and talk about the best way to find success on this legend. By activating this ability, Wraith enters the Void after a little bit over a second, becoming invulnerable for 4 seconds and gaining 30% increased movement speed. This activation time slows Wraith down a little bit, causing you to lose your momentum, and while it's active, you leave a blue trail behind you that's visible to all players. This slow is really worth keeping in mind because if you get caught out in the open while trying to activate this, you will get beamed. You're a very easy target when you're trying to enter your phase, so make sure you break line of sight whenever possible before activating. Wraith's phase is at the core of her kit, and playing around its cooldown is a big part of finding success on this legend. This ability can feel really clunky for new Wraith players, but once you get the activation timing down and really hone in on when best to use your phase, you really unlock Wraith's playstyle. We'll talk about this more throughout the video though. But before we get too far into the video, we've got a message from one of the best historical Wraith players himself, ImperialHal.
Hey, what's up everyone? I'm ImperialHal and welcome to my brand new Apex class. This class goes over everything you need to move, shoot, and think like me. Whether you're silver or diamond, controller or keyboard, you're going to be the one carrying your friends. I typically can't get to all your comments, but this course is actually going to help you guys so much in all your questions. If you're serious about becoming a better Apex player, join me for the next 30 days and commit to improving.
Alright guys, so Wraith's ultimate allows her to place a portal that teleports any players who enter. When activated, it places one end of the portal at your current location, and then the other end of your reactivation point, or when you run out of energy. The energy drains based on your distance traveled, and you can make it about 75 meters before running out of energy. If you reactivate this ability while your energy is above 95%, it won't go on cooldown, which can be great if you're second guessing using a portal. Players can use the portal from either side as many times as they want before it hits its 60-second expiration time. While placing her portal, you can also use her phase, allowing you to have a more discreet portal usage, but more important, avoid damage. Being able to pop this ultimate and then use her tactical right before you start taking damage opens up a lot of portaling options. While you don't gain the movement speed buff from her phase if you use it during her ultimate, you do enter your phase a lot faster, and this combo is an essential one at getting a good use of her portal. While there are plenty of times you'll be looking to portal and won't need to use your tactical, where Wraith really shines is when she's able to make portal plays in the heat of a fight. Having the ability to get your team out of danger or reposition to find a better angle is what really makes this ability strong, and her phase makes all these plays possible. And finally guys, we have her passive. Wraith has a little spidey sense, allowing her to know when she's being aimed at or if traps are nearby. You'll get a prompt to share this info with your team when it happens, and it can be pretty useful, especially when you're getting eyed by a sniper. However, this ability is inconsistent. There are definitely some times where Wraith won't say anything until you're already getting beamed. But the bottom line is, when it does activate in time, it can definitely give you some useful info and keep you from getting shot for free. Wraith's playstyle is very forward, usually being the one in the front of the team, as they make their way through rotations. This ability definitely helps you stay on your toes as you cross open areas, and it allows Wraith to scout for a second or play solo a lot safer than other legends. Guys, also, if you have any questions about the tips in this video, be sure to leave a comment or even check out our brand new Discord server. There's players just like you in there grinding every day to improve, and there are a lot of players in there that can help you with any questions you have. Check it out in the description below. Alright guys, like we talked about earlier, Wraith's tactical has a little over a second where she loses some of her momentum before she enters her phase. However, you can avoid this slowdown by increasing your momentum before activating this ability. Sliding down a hill, ledge boosting, or just jumping off a ledge can give you a window of speed that offsets the slow of the phase activation. This is a pretty easy mechanic to get down, and it'll make your tactical feel so much better. Seriously, that slow will get you killed, so learning to use your surroundings to mitigate this effect is a must. Speaking of her phase, this ability is almost always used best as a means of protection for yourself. Don't use this thing to get into a fight quickly. The strength in this ability doesn't come from that movement speed, it comes from the invulnerability. Rather than charging into a third party with your tactical, instead, hold on to it as an escape route after things start to get hairy. This ability used to reset if you knocked an enemy, so it was a totally viable option to phase in, get a kill, and phase out. But sadly, this is no longer the case. So now you've got to make sure you have it up to phase to safety when you need it. If you're looking to get aggressive in a fight and you're not utilizing your ultimate, it's almost always a better option to take the fight, get as much damage as you can, or get one knock and then phase out to safety. I love how aggressive you can play if you keep this ability in your back pocket, and one of my favorite plays on Wraith is to sneak up on a squad, get a knock, and then phase back to regroup with my team before the enemy can track me down. Whether you're taking fights like this or just rotating the map, hold on to this tactical for a bad situation. This next one is a quick one, but be careful of getting trapped in buildings while you're trying to phase away. You can't interact with anything while in this mode, so if there are any closed doors, you won't be able to open them until you exit your phase. And guys, take it from me, you'll feel really silly when you think you're getting away from an enemy only to be trapped in a building for the whole duration of a phase because the door wasn't open. So try to either make sure the doors are open or just get out of buildings when you use this ability. So enough about the phase, let's talk about arguably her coolest ability, the portal. One of my favorite uses for this ability is to teleport down teammates to safety for a quick res. If your team gets carried away and get themselves knocked out of position, rather than having to charge in there, win some gunfights, and then res like every other legend, Wraith can just yoink them back to safety. If you have your phase up, you can make it into almost any situation to grab a down teammate, and it can make for some sneaky, very low risk reses on your squad. Keep in mind, enemies can take your portal, but odds are you'll still be in a better position to fight them as they come out of it than you would be charging in to take the fight with a disadvantage. And guys, for this one, make sure you keep your portal at ground level if you want to get your teammate up, because as you guys know, you can't jump when you're down. Alright guys, for tip number 5, if you take a portal that you think enemies are going to follow you through, you can be ready for them and really ruin their day. Popping out of a portal can be disorienting, so use this to your advantage. Many players will blindly follow you through your portal if you have them low, with little regard for where it's actually taking them. I have turned so many fights by just pre-nading my portal or being ready to deal damage as soon as they come through. Better yet, if you're able to get an enemy to follow you back to your squad, you can always bait them into caustic traps, Watson fences, or any other sort of damage that your team can provide. Don't just think of this ability as a mobility for your squad, because there are a ton of mind games you can play with your enemies to get the upper hand using your portal. And finally, we have a little bonus tip before we move on, and that is you can actually grab enemies with your portal, bringing them back right to your team for free kills. This play is referred to as a kidnap, and it's one of the coolest plays you can make on Wraith. While it's risky and it's not super practical in most situations, it can make for some pretty stylish plays and feels really incredible when you pull it off. To make it happen, just queue up your ultimate, use your phase, and make sure you're in your phase as you get close to your target. The phase will let you walk right through them, and just as you're passing through them, drop your portal. If you do it right, they'll instantly be portaled back to your starting spot, and you can follow them back and help your team clean them up. And if you put the starting point of the portal in the air, this will cause them to drop out and they'll be unable to shoot until their character recovers. So before we wrap it up, let's talk about playstyle. Wraith excels most when she's the leader of the team, helping them carve out their path to victory, literally as her voice line says. Whether you're rotating, looking to third party, or just looking to escape from a bad situation, Wraith is incredibly strong in the right hands. Her portal is more discreet than any other form of team movement in the game, and it's more flexible too. As Wraith, you should always be looking for off angles in a fight. She's meant to be a pest in fights, constantly looking for flanks or new angles with the expectation that she can phase out to safety if she gets into too much trouble. No other legend in the game can go invulnerable, and the ability to do so should not be overlooked. Your job is to scout out danger and look to make smart movements on the map and in fights. As Wraith, you always try to give the advantage to your team to play with your pressure and the ability to quickly reposition. While we all know her as the TTV pub-stomping legend that she can be, she really thrives best in a team setting where she can have a bit of backup from her team to allow her to make risky plays. If you use her portal effectively to move your teammates around fights and constantly look to have your phase up when you get in a bad spot, or just ensure you can get quality portals, then you have the essence of what makes a good Wraith. Alright guys, let me know in the comment section below any advanced Wraith tips that you have that maybe we didn't cover today, because I know there are a couple more we could have talked about. Wraith might be a classic legend, but she's still a power pick, especially if you have a good understanding of the game and how to get the most out of her kit. Hopefully today's video helped you understand just that. Make sure you guys hit that sub button to make sure you don't miss any videos here on the channel. Anyway, my name is Invalued, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.